Okay.
There's 2 games now that we've had information on, and Divine Sunder Poppy is one thing I didn't expect coming into this tournament. We've seen Broken Blade do really well with it, and we're starting to see great work here from Licorice. So that's one thing that I would take out from this game.
I think the analysts were talking about the Ari pick as well.
Yeah.
It's becoming one of those premier picks in that middle lane. Poppy is not banned. He's available. And with GAM on the blue side, this time round, they're locking in that Zeri. So it's Anillusion Vi, followed by Jinx, Ken, and Rakan.
Yeah.
And Zeri now secure for GAM.
I personally don't expect it as a first phase ban. I would expect it in the second phase. And if you do see Licorice go first phase on that Poppy pick, then you're easier to deal with it.
See, that's why I'm happy you're on that side, because I need brains to back me up here. I need brains to back me up on this one. It will be the Tristana locked in. Do you reckon?
I don't reckon. I don't think so.
You don't think so?
Yeah. I don't think so. I think the Bel'Veth is a little bit more legitimate, but just in general.
Listen.
We did the Cardinal Sin.
Gory's got an infinite KD on the one Tristana game he's played this year.
True.
I just wonder if this is going to become a thing. So River once again get that Viego. I do like this carry hover here on the Wukong. The reason I put some numbers, we said 16 games on Wukong, 10 games on Lee Sin, 8 on Vi, and then it drops Sejuani, Hecarim, Nocturne. So for Levi, those kind of like initiating tools, but more of the skirmishy, bruiser, fighter types, like the Wukong, is the signature pick. 15 wins in the VCS, it's locked in again.
It's a much better position, and we're seeing a supportive pick there from Kati. So now we already have a nice wombo combo there from GAM Esports. Makes their team fight a little bit stronger. Golden Guardians will have that information going in the second phase, so they can start to ban away some picks that would make it even better. Liking these hovers, but remember, Cardinal Sin, don't talk about them. I already messed up the last time. I already messed up.
Listen, that's a Trevor thing. That's a Trevor. I just get so tilted by it because players always debate.
Yes.
Always debate.
Oh, there it is.
Okay, so with the LeBlanc locked in, it will be Stixxay running Tristana. He's got himself 2 games this year, both of them victories, 21 KDA on the pick.
Yeah.
So we're seeing Tristana today. I don't think we saw Tristana yesterday, if I recall correctly. So just a little bit of a difference. And one of the things we talked about on the analyst desk is maybe how the different groups could theoretically have slightly different metas. You don't know who the scrim partners are. They're obviously most likely not playing each other. So that's the biggest kind of tweak I'm seeing, I think, today.
Yeah, I mean, with BLG putting out the Nautilus mid at the same with G2, maybe I can make an assumption there.
Yep.
But Gory going towards the LeBlanc, that's a pick that he's gone through pretty frequently. 3 picks there for him during the LCS. The win rate's not too great, but in general, like that's been something that he's been really successful with, is playing assassin mid lanes that allow him to take different angles in fights. And it's a great pick knowing that he's going up against Orianna. So I like that. It works well with him and River in tandem to try and find one execute so they can get that one possession and start fights next.
Yeah, and I mean, with how controlled Golden Guardians played in game number 1.
Yeah.
Even though they didn't generate that lead in the laning phase that we've become accustomed to, man, their bounce back was great. We were talking about how it was a really like a patient and deliberate game. Just strangled absolutely all opportunities. It'll be harder this time. Wukong and Orianna, Zeri, they'll be able to become online a little bit earlier, have that little bit more skirmish potential, which is what we're hoping to see.
And the one thing for GAM, being able to take at least one positive from the prior game was their first 3 minutes was beautiful.
Yeah.
So
that is a silver lining if ever. That is a copium if I've ever heard one. No, copium. That's definitely copium.
Oh yeah. There's a lot of copium there. I'm sucking a lot of it just so we can have a competitive series. That's what I want, is a competitive series here for GAM, so we can see the best of them. But the bans are being Poppy 4 picks perfectly. I think it makes it easier, so you put Licorice in a much tougher position.
We're just going to blow past the Amumu, locked in on 4. Support Amumu for Huhi.
He's played it once with 100%. I mean, he's won once with it. And actually, Stixxay talked about that pick in particular. That he just has confidence in Huhi if he just picks something out, just throws something on the table. So yeah, I want to play Amumu. It's worked well for him there when he was 100 Thieves support. It worked excellently there for him too in an international event. So like, those are things that you look out for. Good counter.
Now, what do you make of these final lock-ins? Yeah, Braum secured to back up Styles, Zeri in the bottom lane, Fiora for Kiaya in the top lane. And Licorice needs to figure out what he wants to run into it. How do you take the comp into consideration? Because Licorice, he played the Poppy in game number 1, and this Amumu could have huge impact when you think of him locking down the Orion, the Wukong, or the Fiora to set up for the Viego and the Tristana.
It's interesting because at least if I look at the Braum, makes it maybe a little bit more difficult for River to get possessions. If I look at the Fiora, 7 Fiora games, 7 wins for Kiaya. So they're going back to putting resources into Kiaya, but at least this time around they have team fight picks available on the Wukong and Orianna. So I think they are still willing to take fights, but then they will now pressure Licorice a little bit more. It's going to be harder for Licorice to find the success that he did in the last game in absorbing pressure.
And of course, with that Renekton locked in, again, another champion that can come online a little bit earlier.
Yeah.
Have that punch, have that skirmishes. Of the teams that I was anticipating maybe throwing something a little bit out there, it wasn't Golden Guardians that I was higher up on hopes.
Yeah.
But the Amumu is now secured. So how do these teams win overall? We've talked about some of the specific champion interactions.
Yeah.
How do they close out the game?
So for me, for Golden Guardians, if they were to take fights, it would just be off of LeBlanc initially. If she's threatening Style or Kati, trying to get a chain off of them so it makes it easier for River and Amumu to then follow up. They just need one kill. One kill for that one reset and actually start getting the ball rolling. And so that's how I think they want to take fights. Gory, when he's on LeBlanc, he's fun to watch. He's somebody that will look in for Fog, will take the red trinket a little earlier so he can try and play out those fights, early Drake fights, a lot more creatively. So it's a fun game to see. That just means that GAM has to be aware of it.
In terms of the initiation as well, I kind of don't mind. Like, you're looking for a flank with LeBlanc. If GG get the same control they did in game one, those opportunities are there.
Yeah.
If the bandage toss doesn't connect, you just don't go forward.
Yeah.
You know, so it's one of those things. But I will say that as far as initiation goes, I do prefer the Wukong plus Oriana combo in terms of the Cyclone, but neither of these teams are those like traditional, like hard engaged type champions.
The only thing that I would look at and say they could be a little bit more, just like a dark horse that can come out in this fight is Licorice. On the Renekton, generally going Gore Drinker, but I've seen people who have been rising on the ladder of just trying to play a lot of Renekton now that Nidalee has been a pick. And I've been seeing a lot of Prowler's Claw. And so I know whenever we talk about Prowler's Claw, Renekton, and hype it up, it goes into competitive and people don't play it. I'm just throwing that out there in the ether if it does happen.
It would be awesome if it does.
Yeah.
It'd be very celebratory. And of course, if you are watching at home, connect your League of Legends account with a Prime Gaming. Grab that exclusive Got Him emote. Golden Guardians got GAM in game number 1.
See if they can get him back.
And one of those points that you were talking about in order to get GG back was stronger level 1, potential, looking at how the map's going to get split. So you can see right now, Golden Guardians grouped up a little on the bottom.
And they do have a stronger level 1 with the Braum. So if there is an invade that comes through from Golden Guardians, they can stuff it immediately. That's why we're seeing Xin be in position for it. Not happening. So this is actually much better for GAM than last game. As I said, there's no split map. They're able to defend a possible invade. And I'm liking this right now from the level 1.
All right, already slightly higher potential, let's say,
Yeah.
from game number 1. But I think we've got definitely more explosive options in the top lane and bottom lane. That Fiora Renekton as well as the Amumu and Tristana stepping forward. This is not a support pick that I've personally seen in a long time.
Yeah, it's been some time. But one thing that is going to make this lane a little bit boring, sorry to say, Trevor, is that we're seeing an exhaust here from Xin and no cleanse there from the Tristana. So there's not really a chance for her to jump in. She's just going to get completely stuffed. No opportunity for a jump reset if that does happen. So I think she's going to play this lane respectfully and just try for push. So as much as everyone hates to hear it, that's just going to be the reality.
Well, I mean, hypothetically then, that sets us up for either big game or late game fights, right? Skirmishes.
Yes.
Do you prefer one composition to the other? Like, it feels to me it's a little easier to play Golden Guardians.
It's a little bit easier.
But both of them are kind of similar. You throw your meaty boy, either the crocodile or the monkey at the enemy and hope they find a target.
Yeah, it's a little easier, and that's why I'm just looking towards the mid lane position, because if Kati gets a free mid lane, and if he's able to farm up quite nicely on side lanes too, then actually it's just really threatening dealing with GAM's composition. They can just blow up Stixay or River and just make it hard for them to even get that first pick. So I agree with you. Easier initially on Golden Guardians just because they're going to be threatening mid. They're going to be making it harder for Kati to get farm on side lanes. But if something happens that's disastrous for the early game and makes Kati get early game farm, then yes, it's going to be much better off from GAM Esports. I'm going to start to favor them.
Yeah, let's take a look at this. River, as well as Levi trading in the jungle. River's losing this one, forced to flash over the wall. Levi holds on to his, and River stepped into GAM's jungle, is punished for it, and loses his flash.
There it is. You don't want to be doing that. In the finals there, GAM versus STBC in VCS, like, Levi did that. He invaded, and he actually got a heads up on the enemy jungler. So this is the opposite, and River paid that price, actually.
Well, what does this do for River? He's low, still clearing out those Krugs up in the top. We've got a quick glimpse there of Licorice. He's being pushed back in the top lane, and Gory threatening this middle lane, exactly like you said.
Yeah.
Raz, likes to play forward, likes to get in your face. I mean, as you should, on that champion. And Levi, with a wave and a half, at least considering it, stepped right over that Golden Guardian's ward. So, interrupt was back. River's holding on to it, but look at the damage from that lunge.
He is so low, but River is out of vision, and they were able to catch Levi walking up. So they're going to be able to defend him on this.
Get some HP back. Stacked up for Licorice. Ruthless Predator could have done work. So GAM, they look for the opportunity. The heal and the potential stun means they have to back away.
Two great things that happened there for Golden Guardians. One was the ward, and the other one was River just being in position. But taking a look at the bot lane skirmish, nothing does happen.
Just like you said, boring.
Yes.
They tried to, I mean, obviously the Braum Unbreakable, then also having that exhaust.
Yeah.
It's just an even trade, but there should be a CS advantage for Style if he can clean up most of this wave as you expect him to do.
Yeah, River's been on point, though. Just taking a step back and seeing what he was able to do at the top side of the map. I don't know whose ward it was in particular that was placed there in that bush and top side that caught Levi coming up top lane, but River just stayed out of vision, waited for Levi to commit, then walked in, defended the play. Hard to do anything there, so that was a good job there from Golden Guardians, keeping Licorice up and alive.
Now this is a little bit more of how I was expecting game 1 to play out. Like you can see River playing aggressive, trying to step forward. Gory's pushing that middle wave, bottom wave. I mean, every lane for Golden Guardians is pushed. And look at this, grouped up, invading.
Oh!
Available, chicken is secured. River's looking for an opportunity. No level 6s for those mid laners, so Xin now under some threat. Huhi finds a bandit.
Yeah!
Blast cone catches Braum. He's locked to the jungle, and first blood secured for Stixxay.
This is what we were hungering for. Any type of scrapping, and we tend to get it there.
Ooh, Mimic Chain, 2-chain.
Oh.
Ready for Shockwave. Kati's being ignited, but he's on level 5. He's only level 5, no ulti available.
Ah, so close there. But Kati was in position. He wanted to join Levi on that fight. Try and collapse there on River, who was trying to pick something up that. But overall, really enjoyed that from GAM.
And but ultimately, it's Golden Guardians to get the first dragon. Well, yeah, should get the first dragon.
Yeah.
They got the first blood. They got the soul by, what, 22 minutes or something in the first game? And this one will be uncontested, just a few seconds late for Levi. But another early advantage without conceding first blood. So Golden Guardian is going to be ecstatic for game 2.
Yes, I was getting too ahead of myself. I was just excited for any type of scrap there from GAM Esports. The fact that it didn't work out, it blows, right? Xin was trying, Kati was trying, and they were both pushed out. Gory defended, the mid laner, Kati, from joining in, and that blast cone was nice to see. So,
really, really nicely done. I mean, it was just played exceptionally well. And again, kind of similar to that first game, we were talking about a little bit off air how it was one of those really, really controlled wins.
Yeah.
That made it beautiful to watch if you're a Golden Guardians fan.
Yes.
But not as bloody as we saw from the BLG series earlier today. But it definitely gives me some hope here for Golden Guardians. Law brought up the storyline. This team, that Cinderella story to make it here to MSI, somewhat reflective of Stixxay and Huhi's journey is now in this middle lane. Huhi's going to be under some threat. Only level 4 flashes away to safety. Ultimate cast occurs, so as one is killed, secured. Style forced to flash over the wall. It's a 1-for-1 in the river. I think that started with Huhi getting caught out. But for Golden Guardians, again, strong start to a series against a team that could have been problematic or chaotic.
Yeah.
And they've got the answers, like you said, in the prep.
Yeah, they took the fight there. It was still nice to see Kati was able to get the ultimate and find the pick on towards River, so he gets a kill for himself. That is a positive. We'll continue to see how this game goes. It's a slight advantage for Golden Guardians.
Okay, now Licorice is available. Got himself the Executioner's Calling, by the way. Early start off here. Deal with some of that healing, I'm guessing, from Fiora. And yeah, this is it. So it was actually Huhi that started the fight.
That's interesting to see. I mean, he just knew that he had LeBlanc coming in from the top side there. Seeing how the first pick comes through. But yeah, it was a River getting picked up, so it wasn't an ideal fight to start. But then the reaction there was nice from the Golden Guardian side.
And that's what you can see, by the way, Raz. You mentioned it in draft, the Viego, the Tristana, if they are able to find that single kill,
yeah,
and then just keep chasing, keep jumping forward. That's what GAM has to really avoid. So it'll be important for the Grand Challenge to get some of that healing up for the Unbreakable, the Exhaust, Blight Time. Try to prevent Golden Guardians from picking those up, and ideally get that burst from the Cyclone and the Shockwave.
And taking a step back, talking about the two teams just in general coming into this event, tournament, Golden Guardians being the 10th bloodiest team at the tournament, usually playing a much more slower paced game to get their leads, while GAM Esports are the 3rd bloodiest team. It's insane to see how refined the gameplay is from Golden Guardians to stop those from happening, or, who he's seeing an angle there, so you can just be like, you know what, I'm the one that wants to start the fight. So it's like different looks there from Golden Guardians. That's a bit of a change from LCS to the big stage,
and of course,
it's working for them.
You've got to remember as well that whoever wins this series will go up against Bitty Bitty Gaming.
Yeah.
And whoever loses this series will go up against R7. So, as just a reminder for the new format and how that will play out, it'll be in 2 days' time. Golden Guardians will need to have another gear because GAM basically, BLG just ran over that early game. They had so many kills. That bottom lane was crazy good.
Yeah.
But at least this is a good start. They have answers, they've got the prep, they've got the draft working. Thus far, it's a 1,000 gold lead. It's a dragon under their belt, and we're a minute and a half until the next dragon. I think Golden Guardians will obviously make a play for it. You see the recalls coming in. They've shown a very high priority on that objective.
Yes.
So if you look at the minimap, Raz, what do you think of the setup here as it looks to be like River's making his way down?
Yeah, so River making his way down. I also expect, I like the fact that Xin was getting pushed there for Kati because I want to see River and Gory push for, like, fight for push here. That's why you see Huhi actually deploying it on the map through mid lane so they can allow River to come and help out Gory, get that push, and then they can make their way bot lane. But GAM has recognized that, and they're just going straight through mid lane first.
And crucially, no teleport for Licorice in the top lane. Yaya has his teleport available on that Fiora, is now starting to back as well. Xin is just dinged level 6, so that Fisher is available to him, but a big chunk of damage onto Style. Stixay's pushing this wave out. Dragon's up in 30 seconds. Both teams now contesting inside.
It's a scrap.
The river. Cyclone's been used. Heartbreaker over the wall. Stixay, rocket jumps forward. Gets E down into Style. Into the pit. That's already a kill secured. Onto Levi. The dragon hasn't even spawned yet. And we're committing for everything. Stixay's got himself a kill. He's got that W available, but he's not pulling the trigger. Golden Guardians get 2 for 1, sorry.
River's patience there was exceptional. Like, he was waiting a little bit just to see Stixay push up that bot lane and help out. Did not expect both Xin and Style to actually make that way through mid. Actually, Kati was the one that was able to do that. A little bit of a scrap top lane, though.
This Predator thrown down. Dominus out. Those Vitals are being procced as the challenge was issued. Licorice stepping back. Reminder, he's got himself the plated steel caps as well as the execution is calling. I mean, he really wants to just stare Yaya in the face and be like, just fight me, bro. That's all I want to do.
Yeah, he's like, get me out of here. God, dude. Yeah, just trying to get up out of there in that moment. But looking back at that fight, it happened around River. Ooh, it might happen again, actually.
Shockwave is not available. Kati attack and dissonance down. Dragon is up and inside the pit, so we're going to get another fight. That entire engage played without the dragon spawning. Kraken Slayer is picked up for Stixay. That is a big advantage, and I think part of the reason GAM are not setting up for the engage.
Yeah, if GAM wanted to contest for this, they're trying to push through mid to help make it happen. He's going to try for it. He's going to try for it.
Oh, man, this is just like Attack on Titan of some ways. Levi, Bloscone's there. Flash not available. He thought about it. He really thought about it.
He was thinking about it because then he would be able to use his clone to get back over the wall, but didn't have an opportunity. Who he knew it was going to happen, though, warded over the wall, saying, okay, if you do it, I'm just going to stun lock you. Didn't give him the opportunity. That's the second dragon for Golden Guardians, and now they're nearing Soul Point. Something GAM has to be ready for.
12 minutes, dude.
Yes.
2 dragons at 12 minutes, 1,000 gold lead. The Rift Herald's been dropped. A couple plates there secured for Stixay. Will continue to just accelerate ahead 2-0. Currently up around 500 gold in that bottom lane, but more importantly, got that Kraken Slayer. And just consistently, Licorice has been able to apply pressure and kind of lock Kiaya into this lane.
Yeah, that was the one surprise here. Taking a look at top lane, it was the test for Licorice going up against the carry player of Kiaya, and he's been passing that test thus far. Now, there's always a fear of scaling that Fiora will have, and Kiaya will be more comfortable. The more items he picks up, that is the truth, but he's now on a timer with how Golden Guardians have been accelerating this game, so it's just unfortunate. Kiaya is going to be forced to take this Soul Point fight, and if he doesn't, he's going to have to take the Soul fight.
Raz, I know it's really not fair to get excited.
Okay.
And to make bold statements after 1.5 freaking games.
But you're going to do it anyways.
Of course I am. and I don't get to cast the offense, so I'm going to throw you in the deep end.
Okay.
I've been really impressed with the opening 20 minutes of each game here from Golden Guardians. They seem composed, collected.
Yes.
They have not put themselves in like bad positions really at all. And they definitely are impressive. I mean, Mark even said 3 games this series.
Yes.
He predicted 3. And Golden Guardians are at least shaping up to have another controlling win. This game is by no means open, but I've been very impressed with what I've seen from LCS number 2.
That's the crazy part about it, because I echo the point that Mark made, expecting it to go 2-3. But I expected, GAM to like just barely lose, for Golden Guardians to barely eke out of it. It was the big test for Golden Guardians of how well they would play on an international stage, and they're passing that and then some. That's 100% right now.
Now, what does your instinct tell you in terms of GAM finding these skirmishes? Look, it's only 2,000 gold down, but you see that gold lead is accelerating. 6 plates secured to 2. Huhi continues to apply pressure in this bottom lane. Along with Stixay pushing that tower forward. You see him just stepping for in front of me. He's looking for potential bandage toss. And now Licorice under threat. Hit level 11. It's a 10 and an 8 coming in.
That's slice and dice.
Slice, dice. Still had flash available to him, and that was just really, really well played again.
Respectful. And that's the thing, it's focused from the Golden Guardian side, and River was in the area, so just in case, if it goes long and you have to pop Dominus, right, River is there for the fight. So to answer your question, actually I've been enjoying Golden Guardian scrap a little bit more. They've been a little bit better off in smaller skirmishes, even though GAM has changed the strategy from Game 1 to Game 2 to allow them to play more their style.
Did you cast a curse? We're going to find out. Styx is able to escape. The rocket jump was great. Huhe throws down the curse to the sad mummy. They've traded 1 for 1, but Styx stays untouched. Here comes Corey, and GAM are bleeding. Styles running for his life.
Got him.
The shot gets another rocket jump once again. That's a quadra on the cards. It's secured by Corey instead. 4 kills to Golden Guardians.
Reset after reset. My eyes are on River, but in reality, it was Stixay that was going forward. That one last auto that allowed him to jump over into the blue side jungle, and he just kept rolling.
How did Hui get in there? I was watching the River. I think he just snuck in from behind. That was great. Looking at the minimap, where did he come from? How did he get in there? Just bandage toss or something?
They see him initially. It's just Levi going way too forward.
I'm so blind. It was LeBlanc jumping into the back.
There it is. But honestly, it was the 4 of GAM Esports that may be a little bit blind as well, because Levi was going in. They wanted to be able to support him. But yes, LeBlanc goes in. A 4-man stun coming there through from Huhi. It was such a perfect setup that made it awkward for Levi.
Beautifully played. You can see that LeBlanc and then Amuba going all the way forward, channeling through that narrow choke point.
Yeah.
Curse of the Sad Mummy doing wonders. That was the 4th pick there for Golden Guardians, and that's unlocked everything. 40 seconds to Dragon, 3,000 gold up. I know we're in Captain Cornborg time, 15 to 17 minutes, looking for those mid lane pushes, but with the fight happening in River and so many members of GAM dying, I just don't think it's a smart move. 5-0-1 for Stixay on Tristana, and Gory 3-0-4 on that LeBlanc. It doesn't get better than that. 100% of kills secured by the primary carries.
Yeah, and the setup that Golden Guardians have now is just going to put GAM in a stranglehold. You put Stixay straight through mid. He's going to be clearing each wave coming in. It's going to be hard for Style to even touch the mid lane, so they're always going to have mid lane push, and they're using it right now to clear out that bot side jungle with Dragon coming up. So I was talking about GAM needing to fight for 3rd Drake. It's just not going to happen. It's not feasible.
And that means they need to try to close this gold difference as much as possible, leading into the potential 4th Drake. You assume this will be uncontested. I will acknowledge that's the 2nd Rift Herald that's had to be dropped randomly, though.
Take a look at the minimap. Hui and Stixay have parked themselves so far into the enemy red side jungle. They're just waiting for anybody to look. They're just going to rejoin to see if they can push through. Yeah, 2nd turret going down bot lane. So no one actually popped their head so they can pick them. But it seems too easy.
Listen, tower was secure in the top lane. GAM trying to get some of that gold deficit back. 5,000 gold down. Rift charge. Is this another tower? No pressure yet because the Dragon was going to be the objective. 3rd one secured. Yeah, Riftail chunked out that bottom in here turret, and all of a sudden, Golden Guardians are once again just in a completely dominant position. And I will remind everyone again, if you missed Game 1, I mean, GAM are a team that has come back from deficits, at least in the VCS.
Yeah.
Game 1's comp, I think, made it significantly harder.
Yeah.
And I actually think this Amumu pick into the comp of GAM is, we've already seen it work in that Rift Herald fight.
Yeah.
That's going to be the problem I think they have to figure out. They have to get around him, maybe play around a window without Curse the Sad Mummy, but there's not much room to maneuver with the deficit that GAM found themselves in.
Yeah, because the last fight, Huhi kind of used it as a way of disengaging, to stopping the rest of GAM Esports of supporting Levi's engage. So you can use it in quite a few ways. Huhi just did it excellently there, and that's just going to make it even harder. Taking a look at the map right now, it's actually wards from Golden Guardians on both quadrants of the jungle, both bot side. Now they've used that control ward actually to put it in the top side of the map, so they're refocusing all of that. Really nice to see, and it's going to mean so Licorice is now connected with the rest of the crew in the top side of the map.
And he's got that teleport available to him. If needs to respond to anything, the reason I said that, Kiaya is pushing that bottom tower. You can see Licorice trying to catch him while this top quadrant is completely under control. We're a minute to go until Baron, and the wards are already being littered and placed. Only Guardians can look for that objective. We're 3 minutes away from the Soul. If there is a hopium lights here for GAM. It's not the most impactful of souls,
yes,
luckily, but
thankfully.
More importantly, you've just got one of the most fed Tristanas.
Oh, brother.
Doing a lot of work. Kiai is able to get away from the chain. I mean, that was a bit of a wide chain, but nevertheless.
It's like in your nightmares, you just see Gory popping straight over the wall.
Somebody was making a sandwich in the kitchen and they get hit by Gory's chain. All right, how did GAM come back from this? I mean, they have to fight the next dragon. They're currently trying to look for a pick. I think they've actually found a little pocket of darkness. Observer's highlighting that extremely well.
Yeah.
No target available, obviously. But I mean, outside of those picks, is it literally 2 minutes 50 or bust?
For me, it's just trying to find a Fnatic bush, as crazy as it sounds. Because before the next Drake comes up, that's going to be coming up in 2 minutes and 30 seconds, they need to find a pick so they can start placing down more aggressive wards, so they can find an angle for Levi and Kati. That would be something, it's just a little hard for them with the comp that they have. If you're in the top side of the map, and Braum, of course, not allowing easy pick options in engage. If they're committing to a fight, it's just going to be a full fight.
Now, I'm going to ask,
yeah.
The Fiora pick coming in, it was answered by the Renekton. The reason I want to ask about it, when you look at Seri, Braum, Wukong, like kind of team fight, do you think that it's not going to have the time, you know what I mean? Like, it's not going to have the impact. It's obviously a little harder to execute that in potential 5v5s, which is what we're building towards right now.
Let's see if we can take this fight off here. But to answer your question, yeah, it makes fighting a little bit harder in larger group situations, especially when Golden Guardian just straight stacking. They made it work in the VCS.
That's why it's picked, I guess.
Yeah, there it is.
Yeah, exactly.
There it is.
Yeah, basically saying, get stuffed, Trevor. Managing to bully Licorice. Unfortunately, because there's no tower to fall back to, there's no control in the southern quadrant. It's not Kiaya that's being run down. The two members of Golden Guardians, teleport coming in here from Kati. Riposte by some time, but the hearts are broken of GAM. Shockwave available for Kati, 1.5 minutes to go. River continues the chase. Will be able to get back to his original form and now step back out. Gory looking for a chain and teleport committed, kill secured, and GAM completely pushed out of their own jungle.
Want to highlight a small thing. Licorice did a really smart idea. Of course, he was holding on to his empowered stun for Fiora to toss out just, a riposte. Riposte just to try and find some time waiting for the TP to come through. Just wait for it. Apply damage until you actually bait it out. Good job from Golden Guardians there. Last game highlighted Huhi on his set. This game highlighting River because while our focus is on Kiai in the early game, Levi tried to impact that side of the map. I think it's incorrect to say that they didn't play towards him. They just stuffed the dive. That wasn't allowed to them. And as the game has been going on, it's been Golden Guardians, but now has been constantly collapsing on that side of the map, making it harder for Kiaya to take that 1v1.
And dude, I have to pull this up. I mean, if I look at my stats dog, no Viego games for River all year. Gory just blows up style underneath the tower and through the shield. I mean, that was great. And once again, yes, Gory is a great LeBlanc to watch. But like 2 games of Viego here, I can't see any other games this year. So great performance from River. Just, again, right place, right time. Look, he's KDA 036, but he's set up the team. He's applied pressure, he's responded despite that small mishap at level 1 or level 2 in the blue buff. The rest has been pretty smooth sailing.
Yeah, that's the one thing that's been nice to see from Golden Guardians because throughout the regular season, we've been seeing a lot more the Sejuanis, Wukongs, Vi's, Maokai's playing to skip camps and help out lanes earlier on so they can get those ganks. But now we're seeing them play a little bit more and farm more gold for River. So it's a nice new kind of angle for them, and we'll see how it goes. I mean, it's a best of 3 going forward, so it's nice having it just for larger series.
And look, it's a little hard, like it's a little not fair to say this, but I'm a bit disappointed in GAM.
Yeah.
I think I understand that last year when we saw the international stage, they did field their second team at international event because they're playing, was it the Southeast Asian Games, if I recall correctly?
Yes, Southeast Asian Games.
And obviously. That impacts the expectations, but for a team with the history and legacy, the VCS and what GAM has had, GAM are still a very fight-heavy team. They may not have the strongest early games. They haven't necessarily delivered to what I was hoping for. While that's also true, Golden Guardians have not given them any opportunities. They really have been applying the pressure. Again, they've got a Dragon Soul by 22 minutes. That has to be two of the quickest souls that we've seen in a long time. They're going to get this Baron before GAM can even get into the pit. And they can turn and fight. I mean, there's the engage. Flash forward, curse of the sad mummy. Cyclones use just a buy time, but here comes Trevor, looking for the first. Manages to rocket jump forward once again, flashes away from Kiaya. The Ultra Shock laser will be thrown out, and it's yet another kill. It's all of a sudden being turned around, though. Where is Stixay trying to find a target? GAM stepping back, stepping away. 3 members down for GAM. And Golden Guardians continuing the chase. Fantastic play, River stealing away that Zeri, firing on GAM, and now they're inside the base as well.
All right, let's see it. Licorice, healing so much
Look
back.
At that healing! Gold Drinker plus Q, back up to 600-700. The passive is proc, the base is being pressured. Nexus turret is being shaken down where it stands. At least 1 kill back. Score is taken out, the Nexus turret will fall, and Golden Guardians step away. River stealing away the Zeri and killing GAM with the Ultra Shock Laser is just so BM.
It really is, man. And at least good point for GAM is that the death timers are not that long, so they can't just end the game right there.
10,000 gold and Soul and Baron. And literally GAM arrived too late to the party and they were just kicked out at the door.
It was looking close a little bit in that fight. Huhi immediately, the moment he gets that bandage toss, flash, ulti, we'll see it here. It was looking a little close, but it was the moment you get that one ulti from, and reset from River, it's lights out. Taking a look at this. Levi is way too far forward, so they're gonna easily be able to pick him off.
And I hate to just like oversimplify it, but it is so true what you said. 1 kill, that's all it's needed. And that's exactly what Golden Guardians secured, and then they just roll through GAM.
Yeah, it was desperation. I think it was good for them to take that fight because what's going to happen if you let them base, right? They're just going to be able to choke you out in the rest of the map. So we're still now in a worse position. Huge gold lead coming in from Golden Guardians, and they're parked right in the bot side of the map. 1 more fight to end the game.
Listen, welcome back to the international stage. Welcome back to MSI, Huhi and Stixay. 2 players that we saw go all the way to finals a long time ago with CLG, and now they're stepping up 6-0-3 on this Tristana, and it was also the first pick on the raid side.
Yeah.
Fantastic performance so far. There's just a gigantic gap, 2 levels as well as the itemization. Golden Guardians are at least pulling some focus. Gory will be able to buy some time. Distorts over the wall, 5 members of GAM chasing him. The inhibitor is secured. I don't even think GAM can win the 5v4. Nexus turret is now being focused down. Licorice has got dominance available and level 16. Kiai is being melted by Stixay. Follow River. Got that Heartbreaker as well.
Yeah, that BT shield them. Draw a B for
Look
Stixay.
at the engage, and GAM are destroyed underneath their own Nexus. Stixay's with the Quadra. Stixay manages the pentakill as Golden Guardians dominate GAM.
That cherry on top of the cake. Stixay comes up big in multiple team fights and right at the end of the game. Golden Guardians riding high with a beautiful performance today.
Trevor, I missed you on the international stage, my friend. Do not go anywhere. In a few minutes, we will be joined on stage by Licorice. Yinsu will chat to him. Meanwhile,